Hello, this is Professor Hazara again, and this is the start of Module 2 of Advanced Accounting. It has to do with business combinations, which is really the heart of this course. I'm going to get right into this. So I'll just go over here to the initial PowerPoint, and this module, if I'm thinking right, will consist of 5 presentations, 1 PowerPoint, this one, and then mostly 4 different Excel worksheets. We'll get into this right now. Okay, so we'll start the slideshow here. Okay, the objectives of this module are 1, minimize myself here. The objectives of this module are basically 2. How to calculate goodwill or bargain purchase gain. Now what this really is when you buy another company, you either pay more for it, which is goodwill, or you either pay more than its the fair market value of its shares. That's goodwill. You think it has some competitive benefit or something. That means you pay more for the company than its fair market value, or you pay less for it than a company that's fair market value, and that's called a bargain purchase gain. Okay, so you either pay more than the stock is worth, or less than the stock worth. These are so the more, if you pay more, it's goodwill. If you pay less, it's a bargain purchase gain. Okay, second objective is understand how business combinations are accounted for when the business is liquidated, when the acquired business is liquidated versus not liquidated. It's very easy. If you acquire all the stock of another company, you control it, but you can liquidate the company, which means that you basically put it out of business, bring over all the assets and liabilities over to your own balance sheet, so you'll have one company left, or you let it run under its own name, leave it as operating as a separate firm, but you control it, and that's not liquidation. So if you liquidate it, you do away with it, and it comes over your own. The assets and liabilities come over to your own balance sheet. If it's not liquidated, you control it because you own all the stock, but you leave it running. You let it keep running as a separate business with its own separate set of books, which that creates a separate set of accounting problems. Okay, so let's get to this. Okay, so let's assume first a business is liquidated. Okay, so assume the company acquires all the stock of Company B. Company A, I should put Company A there, must first value Company B, because when you buy anything, you have to value it at fair market value. You have to figure out how much you're going to pay for it, how much you think the company is worth. And that means, in this case, either you calculate goodwill or bargain purchase option. If you calculate that and pay more for the company than its than the fair market value of that company, you're going to end up with something called goodwill, which is basically an overpayment for a company. If you calculate and pay less than a company's fair market value, then that results in a bargain purchase gain. And I could put it's a bargain gain because theory has it you're getting a bargain for what you're paying for. Okay, so once you've done a valuation of the company and say, well, we're going to have goodwill or bargain gain, Company A, the acquiring firm, Company A, must then decide whether or not to liquidate Company B. Okay, and if Company A liquidates Company B, we're assuming liquidation in this little discussion here. There's only one legal entity that remains after the acquisition, so Company A basically absorbs Company B, swallows Company B. Okay, Company B disappears. Company A brings all of Company B's assets over to its own books. So company brings not only assets, but liability. I should have put net assets there. So company A is going to bring over all of every one of Company A's assets and liabilities to its own books. And there's only one set of financial statements after the combination. Those are the larger Company A. So basically, Company A swallows Company B, and Company B goes out of existence. The following diagram kind of shows you this type of situation. You have Company A, you have Company B, you have Company A, and Company B becoming one big happy company. That's Company A. Okay, so they kind of merge, and you have one company left after the transaction. Okay, so that's liquidation. Okay, liquidated versus non-liquidated. Now let's go to non-liquidation. Okay, so here's the steps. Assume that Company A acquires all the stock of Company B. So that's the same step we had initially. Okay, Company A must first value Company B again. So you're going to have goodwill or a bargain gain. So far, everything looks the same. Okay, Company B must then decide whether or not to liquidate Company B. So far, the 3 steps have been the same. You acquire all the stock, You have to do a valuation of company B and say, did we pay more or less? That probably is the first step, actually, but it doesn't matter. It's you buy the stock and you pay more or less than the fair market value of the company, and then you decide it. And then you decide, it's a separate decision, whether or not to liquidate company B. If company A does not liquidate company B, there are two legal entities after the acquisition, although A controls B. So legally, you have two different companies with two different sets of books, but one, A, controls the other one, B. B continues as a legal entity. He's to follow. B has its own separate set of financial statements. Now you can start seeing where the problems take place. In the initial case of liquidation, you only had one company, so there's no problem. Here you have two operating companies, so now, and one controls the other one. So if you're doing this from a substantive, realistic perspective, if A controls all of company B, then it seems to me that company B's financial statements at least should be merged into those of company A, and that's called a consolidation. Okay, then company A, if you have this situation where you have one company controlling all the shares of the other one, then company A must consolidate its financial statements with those of B. And here's how this would look. You have company A, you have company B, you have company A stays as a separate entity, you have company B stays as a separate entity. Company A controls company B, so company A controls company B. So from a realistic perspective, as shown by that block there, they really are one company. It's usually called company A and subsidiaries, but even though they're two separate entities, company A controls company B, so in a sense, B might be a division of company A if you look at it that way. Although for marketing purposes or whatever, company B would continue to exist. Okay, valuation of acquired company, goodwill versus bargain purchase option gain. So I've mentioned the concept of goodwill, bargain purchase gain, and you are going to see this in the Excel worksheet. Okay, the major rule, regardless of whether the acquired company, that would be company B in this case, is liquidated or not, its net assets are always combined. You're always going to find a way to either directly or indirectly bring the net assets of B over at their fair market value versus their book value. So it's like when you buy anything, according to accounting rules, whenever you buy anything, you record it at their fair market value. You could buy buying a house, a chair, or a company. You always value something when you initially buy it at its fair market value. Okay, and that goes for if you don't just acquire something simple, but something as complex as an actual company, then it has to be valued at fair market value. This implies that the acquisition will always result either goodwill or bargain purchase gain. Okay, goodwill occurs when the purchase price of the acquired company exceeds the fair value of its net assets. So you're paying more for a company. So if a company's stock is trading at 10 and you buy for $12 a share, you're going to record $2 a share of goodwill. This occurs when the acquiring company pays more for the stock of the acquired company than the quoted market price of the stock. That's just what I said. So it's if company B or whatever company is their stock is trading at 10, company A buys it for 12, you got $2 of goodwill. Goodwill is maintained on the books of the acquiring company. The acquiring company is the company that buys the other one until it is permanently impaired, i.e. the value of the acquired company goes down. So let's say that company A buys, that company B stock is trading at $10. Company A buys it for $12 per share. Then you've got $2 per share goodwill. That's an intangible asset. You'll see that it turns out to be an intangible asset. But the way you treat the goodwill is you will leave it on the books. You don't write it off, amortize it like most intangible assets. You're actually going to leave it on the books until and if the company you bought goes permanently down in value. So let's say you paid $2 per share and all of a sudden B's shares sink to zero. You'd have to write that off. We'll talk more about goodwill. Okay, and let's see. Okay, I think we already did that one. Bargain purchase gain. So in contrast to goodwill, sometimes which is you pay more, sometimes if you pay less, you have a bargain purchase gain. Okay, bargain purchase gain occurs when the price paid for the acquired firm is less than the fair market value of the net asset of the acquired firm. So in this case, company B's stock might be trading at $10 per share and you bought it for $8. Then we just record a gain, it's close to retained earnings. So if you pay more, you create an intangible asset, that's goodwill. If you pay less, we just record it as a gain, you're close to retained earnings. These rules changed in 2009. Okay, So now we're going to go to the next 4 slides. We're going to have 4 worksheets that we're going to go through. Okay, and there are 4 situations that we'll go through. One is you liquidate, and there's goodwill. That's number 1. Number 2 is you liquidate, and there's a bargain purchase option. So under number 1, you liquidate and you pay more. Under number 2, you liquidate and you have a bargain purchase option. And number 3, you can see the combinations here, by the way. No liquidation, and you have goodwill, and no liquidation, and you have bargain purchase option. Basically, those are the 4 combinations that you can have in business combinations. Okay, that's where I'm going to finish this slide right here, this PowerPoint right here. This is just the introductory one, but what we're going to do is in the next 4 videos, the first one will be the longest, then they get shorter after that because the first one really is the base for everything else, the first 2 anyway. And then, so we're going to have 1 video for each one of these types of combinations. Okay, so I'll just post this up on YouTube and go on to the other 4 videos. Thank you very much.